In the beginning, maybe we could have a minute and a half before at the end, because it'd be nice to give the council members a reaction to what we've heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowler. Any other members of the public that would like to address the council?
Just a quick question for Sherry's paperwork that was handed in. Did you want that in the public record?
Excuse me?
Can she ask that?
No, thank you. Again, folks, these portions of the council workshop, as they are for the council meetings, are for the public to give comment to the council, not for question and answer periods, not for, if you'd like to have those discussions, there certainly is a lobby to do that in. But at this point in the agenda, we're looking for comments from the public to the council themselves.
So let me rephrase that as in the form of a comment. Mr. Mayor, I would like to add a comment that Sherry and Wright's questions and answers be submitted as public record.
And I apologize, I didn't make that clear that when I cut her off that we would inject that into the minutes so that it was part of that.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other members of the public that would like to speak?
Hi, Mike Briggs, 2868 West 9th. Just a real quick one. Heard some talk recently about the possibility of Washougal City Council coming up with formal ethics policy in light of Vancouver's problems and battlegrounds. I don't think we have one. I know that Don English said he wasn't sure if we had one, that it was, we went by a state code. Then I heard another council person say that he thought we had one, but it had never been ratified. All that's fine. I'd just like to see formally one brought forward, addressed, and put into effect. I think it'd be a benefit for everybody. That's it.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public for this evening? Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Diana Alderman, West Columbia Gorge Humane Society. Just an additional comment and request that you continue to try to find a way to increase the funding to West Columbia Gorge Humane Society from more than $4,000. That in the past it's been $25,000 for a professional services agreement, which we've used to pay for the covering the staffing of the dog shelter. Those $25,000 do not go to the cats. I don't know if that's a concern or not. And then also we'd like to know if we are reduced $4,000, if that would still be a professional services agreement, and if that is, or if it is considered a community services donation. And just want to put out a plea that if we can't pay for one or two people to maintain the dog kennels, that severely not only impacts the dog kennels, but it does impact the rest of the Humane Society as itself, and because the dog shelter volunteers have become a major part of our organization. And then I just wanted to point out real quick, there was an article in the USA Today, not good public speaking, about shelters across the nation, especially private animal shelters who are under major budgetary hits. And it also talks about their relationships with the cities and how much the cities are also having to reduce their funding for what they can supply to the shelters. And what it boils down to is if the cities are unable to help, then the shelters themselves are not able to, in general, raise funds to help. And many of the shelters are either closing their doors or restricting the services that they can offer the cities that they've been partnered with. So I just want to point out that without this vital funding, our services to the city of Washougal and then also the city of Camas in a roundabout way will be severely affected.
Thank you very much. Any other members of the public that wish to address the council this evening? Moving to agenda bill discussions. Public Works. Mr. Dunn, WashDOT Utility Construction Agreement UT 01516.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Guard. Public Works has 3 agenda bills for your review this evening. And the first two are the SR-14 utility construction agreements. And a couple of weeks ago, we pulled these off the agenda. Trevor and I wanted to double check the numbers for accuracy. The agreements have been reviewed by Wallace Engineering, and the costs are reasonable. we just recommend that action is to authorize the mayor to sign the agreements. And are there any questions on those utility construction agreements? I know we had a little bit of discussion a couple of weeks ago about those.
These are
Yes.
gonna be done in conjunction with the SR, the Highway 14, state improvements, is that correct?
That's
The big
correct.
project.
They'll go in a little early, obviously.
Right.
That's correct.
The other question that I have is, we're doing this for a couple different reasons, of my understanding, is that we are anticipating that the growth will happen over there for waterfront commercial and that type of thing, and this is a great time to upsize that. But will we recoup those costs at construction or when those businesses start to flourish over on that side of the road? Is there any way that you could see that we're gonna recoup these costs?
I think maybe through, obviously rates. I don't know as far as development charges. I'm not sure exactly how Trevor would like to work that, but I think it's something that's needed now. I mean, so that we can plan for growth, for sure.
Well, I realize we probably wouldn't do this in a latecomers agreement, but we do that when someone has to extend a sewer line and then somebody else has to add on to it a couple of years down the road. And that's, in essence, what we're doing now, is we're upgrading the sewer lines, water lines, and then somebody will attach to them at a later date.
No, that's a good question, and I can look into that further for sure. Thanks, Councilman.
Dave, our connection charges, you're gonna cover a pretty good portion of that, at least on the water side.
Depends on what type of use connects, as to what those system development charges would be. But systems development charges are intended to pay for growth in the system that is directly caused by growth. But there's no specific one-to-one analysis between those connecting and these specific project costs per se. We've got charges in our code that take a system-wide kind of look. But yes, there is potential revenue. And certainly after they're connected, they will become ratepayers.
Jim, I noticed in the letter from Washington State Department of Transportation to Trevor, it says, please note that when the contract is awarded, the total estimated amount shown on Exhibit B may be charged by an amendment to this agreement to reflect the actual contract cost to install these items. I'm new to this, but correct me, it appears to me we're buying a pig in a poke. We don't know what we're getting here.
Yeah, these are engineer estimates, so I guess conceivably the cost could increase a little bit.
Okay. Is there any way to quantify that risk? Because at this point with our budget, that's a risk.
I don't see there's any way to quantify the risk, to tell you the truth. I think that, the agreement is such that if we want to upgrade that line there, we're going to have to just.
And this is traditionally the way it's done.
Yes. There is a provision in terms of change in worker cost increase that basically says that we have to re-agree if it's more than 25%.
Okay, so there is a limit to the risk.
Yes. There's a limit to the risk in terms of it being automatic, if you would, which is 25%, which would be $12,000 for this first one.
But they can still come back to us and, do we have any kind of history